spirit, welling deep inside. You got a beast inside. I know it's hard to tame it, it's harder to explain it. Can't even get a picture, no matter how you frame it. There's so much pressure with all these external stresses, and they try to test you. Gotta push them through the feeling, even though your mind is reeling. The power's deep inside and leads you if you were willing. Got the power. Can you feel the power? This is the hour to release your power. Got the power. Can you feel the power? This is the hour to release your power. Got the power. Can you feel the power? This is the hour to release your power. Got the power. Can you feel the power? This is the hour to release your power.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Long time no see. Let me just say that. It has been a while since I have seen you all over here on the Power Shut Up podcast. I have missed you. Believe me, I understand that I'm a little green here, so give me some grace. But I have absolutely missed you. I've missed coming on live on Thursdays, but I am comfortable because I have some friends and family up in here with me to close out season 3 of the Power Shut Up podcast. So I am actually, and I didn't plan this, it seems to keep happening, but every 3 years, I seem to kind of revamp and redo. And so I am bringing the Power Shut Up podcast to a close. And I'm going to do it the same way I did it last year. We have Tyran with us. We'll bring him back in as soon as he gets here. But we're going to keep it rolling. And I wanted to thank you all for supporting me for 3 years on the Power Shut Up podcast. I have truly appreciated all the support, the love, the conversations. We have had some dynamite people come on here and talk about their businesses. We've had people come on here and talk about just things that we need to talk about. And tonight will be no exception to the rule. But I did want to make sure that I said thank you. And of course, I'm here by myself. We miss Shariva. If you all remember, Shariva was always behind the scenes, keeping things flowing. So I'm doing this by myself because, life is lifing, and she is taking care of things, but she's doing wonderfully. She's getting through. So I want to also say a special thank you to her. But welcome back to season 3. But this is definitely the last show. But it's not the last time you'll see me. We will be back, but I'm doing some different new things. But like I usually do for every episode, y'all know how I am about celebrating, which is what we're doing tonight. But I wanted to first say happy birthday to anybody who's celebrating a birthday today, this month, all the birthdays I missed since last year, just everybody. Happy birthday. Yeah, there's some in the house right now. So happy birthday to you all. Y'all know how I feel about birthdays. Sean, I also wanted to say happy anniversary to anyone who's celebrating love. Y'all know how I am about anniversaries. We got 2 in the house today, Sean and Angelo. Happy early anniversary. Thank you so much for spending it with us, okay? I'll say it again tomorrow, but happy anniversary. And we actually got a newlywed in the house too. So shout out to you. I know I remember it, Tyran. I remember. Y'all know how I feel about love. So happy anniversary. Mine is in July, so don't forget about me, okay? It's not this month, but it's next month, but don't forget, okay? I'm just saying. I also wanted to send up prayers to everyone. There's a lot that has been going on since I have been gone and even beforehand. I know we've been going through it since last year. There has been a lot of changes. I retired last year, which was a wonderful thing. The circumstances weren't so great, but nevertheless, I wouldn't have done anything different. But like I said, I have dealt with a lot of things. To kind of catch you up real quick with my family. My mother beat cancer, so congratulations to my mom. She is a trailblazer for sure. My father was in a nursing home going through some things, but he's home now. So blessings to him on moving in the right direction. My son had his wedding ceremony not too long ago, which was absolutely beautiful. So there's been some good things, some challenging things, but we've gotten through it all and we are here tonight. So we're going to be celebrating Juneteenth. We're also going to be celebrating Father's Day because I listened and I hear what y'all are saying. Y'all are tired of us always celebrating the moms and never giving that energy to the dads. So we are saying happy Father's Day a little early to all the fathers here in the room and to fathers everywhere. But in celebration of tonight and closing out the season, I wanted to kind of dedicate it to Men's Mental Health Awareness Month because I don't think we talk about it enough. And for example, the guests we have in here tonight, they have been stepping up to the plate. They've been talking about it. They've been pouring in. Tyran talks about resilience. He's been a guest on the show, just a dynamic person to talk to. So thank you for being here. And Roderick and Angelo, you all are doing your thing out on TikTok, really to me, embracing the men in a way that I have never seen before. So I thank you for that. And I'm gonna do a special little shout out to my husband. Thank you so much for allowing me to be up in here, okay? Doing what I do, because as a creative, I know I drive him batty. I know, and I thank him because it takes a special person. Okay, I'm just saying. And I have a special little dedication to him at the end of the show, but in general for the dads. But I want to get into it because you can tell people what you do out on TikTok and what you do out in the community. But I wanted to really get into the conversation, starting off with a question, because we talk about men's mental health awareness. And I want to end with some solutions on how we can move forward. But the first thing I wanted to do was kind of ask you, what are the issues? What are the concerns? Because sometimes we think we know, but we have no idea. So what better person than you all to tell us what really is the issue and the concern? And I'm not talking about just in relationships. I'm talking about on your job, in the community. And I'm connecting this to the power shut up because I know people get a little confused, but this is not permission to tell people to shut up. Okay. That's not what the power shut up is all about. If you listen to the words, it's the power of shut up, which means that the power shut up is really about how to control what you say, when you say, how you say it, and if you say it. So I took it back to the basics. It is really a who, what, when, where, why, and if you say that thing. And I think that will make a difference in the world, but that's just my contribution. But connecting that to men's issues and mental health awareness, I wanted to go around and we're going to let this conversation flow like we do. But I wanted to start the conversation on what you feel are the issues or the concerns, and then we can move along. And then towards the end, talk about how we can show up for you and what's needed. So, Roderick, I'm going to start with you. What kind of things do you think are the issues that people are missing?
That's actually a really good question. I think the issues that, when it comes to men, I think the issues that most people are missing, men and women, is that we have not been taught how to process emotions and feelings from a very young age. And because that has happened, depending on where we ended up, if you were fortunate enough to be able to find yourself amongst a group of solid brothers, that's great, and you're able to kind of work through that. But a majority of us haven't, so we're just trying to figure it out. We don't have a lot of encouragement for therapy to speak our minds as men and as young men and as boys. So we grow up not understanding how to express ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And because we are living in that state now, as women, you got to deal with it. It's like, okay, this is what we created. Now you guys go deal with us. You know what I mean? And so it can be very frustrating because the very first thing that you can do to be successful, no matter what you're doing in life, is understanding who you are and feeling okay to express how you're feeling in a manner in which people will be able to digest it and not feel attacked. And generally, the only time we're expressing ourselves is it comes off as combative because we are in a space of protective mode.
I love that. I actually agree with that. I'm just thinking even personally. And I think that's why I want to have the conversation to just talk about how we can even acknowledge that, because I think that's, like you said, that's the key, is that we got to just understand that that's what it is first. Otherwise, we come in the same way, because we're automatically going to be on defensive. And now we're responding without thinking about what was actually said and what was felt. So thank you for that. Angelo, what you got?
And Lisa, I just wanted to, because I know you ain't acknowledged that I was here, but I am. It's okay.
Oh, Sean, look. Did I not? Oh my gosh, Sean. Because look, I feel like you are me, and I got you. I am so sorry.
It's all good. I wanted to just piggyback on what Forrest said just for a moment. Is I want to apologize as not just a wife, but as a mother. I think we have internalized this notion and have perpetuated onto our boys. I have 3 sons. I did better because of my father, but there were times, stop all that crying, right? Those kinds of, I don't need to hear that right now. Suck it up. And I think really this has been just a generational perpetuation of denying young boys their humanity.
I agree. Y'all, that's Sean. Okay. Don't play with it. Tyran, what you got?
So I love, first off, it's great to be here this evening. And it's great to be having this conversation, talking about this. Got a couple things I'm going to touch on. I'm going to try to keep this pretty brief, but you touched on one of them, Dr. Lisa, when you said this. To me, one of the first things. So first off, we are dealing with a whole lot of stuff internally, externally, what we have in our relationships, what we have in our family, what we have with what everybody else is doing with our life. If you're in the news and watching politics, it's a lot of stuff that adds trauma. We got the trauma, we got the micro traumas, and then we got everything else associated with it. Now, when it comes to what we're dealing with and how we address these things, first thing, acknowledgement. We have to acknowledge the situation. And I say that because a lot of times we move forward in life and we just keep going, and we try to either just ignore it, or we try to sweep it under the rug, or we keep saying, I'm going to be all right, and just, and as men, let me say this, as men, we try to shoulder the burden of everybody who we're encountering with, who are in our family, our wives, our kids, daughters, all of that. So sometimes we don't take that time to stop and assess where we are, because that's how we get to acknowledge that. So that's one of the first things I want to talk about. Next thing is we got to be honest with ourselves. Sometimes we got problems, but we're not willing to believe that we need to do something about it. We think we're better off than we are. But sometimes, I'm going to say it like this, it's hard to see the label from the inside of the jar. Meaning you don't see the problems that you're having because you're too in the weeds, but other people outside might be able to do that. So sometimes we have to be honest, and we have to be even vulnerable to ask those people who are closest to us and being honest about what we're facing, what we're going through. So that's another element to it. I think there's an element of pride that we have. Do we go out there and once we get to the place of admitting that we're dealing with things and that we can't handle it all ourselves, are we willing to go and ask for the help, or recognize that we need the help and actually have somebody work with us to get through the challenges that we face? And then this goes to Sean's point to an extent here, but I want to talk about this. It can be somewhat toxic masculinity, meaning, like you said, we don't let little boys cry because they're going through things and facing their emotions. We do tell them, look, just, man up, tough it out, all of these things. And that can create a deeper means of not being able to, going back to Roderick said, being able to express your emotions, to be able to feel what you're actually feeling, and feel okay to have the times when you're really high and doing good, but sometimes when you need to cry and you're down. So being able to address all of those things is part of what we're dealing with. And I know it was said here earlier, when you find a safe space, a place where you can actually be yourself and admit your, not just your strengths, but your flaws, your weaknesses, and what you're dealing with, and not feel bad about what that person's going to say about me or how this is going to come back and impact me in a negative fashion, then we're making strides to actually be honest with ourselves about the mental health challenges that we may be facing.
Absolutely. I feel like this would be the end of the show. I don't have anything else to say because but here's the hard part. That was the easy part because you all are actually doing all of those things. You see what I'm saying? Like, you all are acknowledging it. You're sharing what your concerns are. You have a game plan of how this works in your head before it goes to someone else. But what do you say to the young man, the older man, the teenager who struggles in areas like, and I'm going to say a big one, the pride area, because I think a lot of times that's what keeps this whole conversation down in the dirt, because like, I can't tell anybody I'm having some issues, or I got to be the strong one. I got to be all of this. How do you get through to those young people and let them know that it's all right? And I put us into it, Sean, like as spouses, as women in the family, as friends. What do we do to support that? Because a lot of times I am stuck on what do I do to create that safe space? Although I might think I know what I'm doing. If we say it's going to be okay or whatever that is, that might not be actually the answer. So what do you all think about what someone needs to do to make it a safe space so that you can then share these feelings or be willing to talk about needing help from somebody? What are some things that you think need to happen and how we can support that? And anybody can jump in, but Roderick, I'll start back with you.
You know, that's a good question. I think one of the most important things is even the most simple experience, we need to make sure we're validated. Because, you know, oftentimes what will happen is it's kind of like it's kind of like a gradual impact. So if we're not validated on the big things, on the little things, there's no way we're going to come to you for the more important things that are more impactful for us. So if we can start, in my opinion, if we can start by tiny validations, people will eventually start being a little bit more open to sharing a little bit more. And as you continue to do that, and where people aren't feeling attacked, and the flip side is you can never leverage it or weaponize it against them later, because as soon the very moment that you do that, you're never going to get them back. So if you can start by validating them just on the little things, that'll make them feel a little bit more safer on the more important things, and never throw it back in our face.
Yeah, I think that's a big one, actually. I'm glad you said that. I think it's something that people just do naturally and don't realize that that's exactly what they're doing. Angela, what about you?
Y'all let me talk now? Well, praise God. You did a whole round robin, left me on the sideline.
We go bring back around.
Yeah, okay. Sound good to me. But anyway. No, I want to say this. And I think what's really important, because I in answer to your question, I have to do that for 10 months out of the year, which is reaching the younger generation. And I'm grateful that I've been given the grace to do it, because, you know, you're talking about talking to or trying to relate to a 16, 15, 17-year-old young man there's a gap of how things are going on and what they have to deal with versus what I had to deal with growing up. There's a major difference. But again, one thing I do understand is that when we're talking about pride, it's usually because, again, that's the only thing they've been allowed to function in. Just like we as men have only been allowed to function in being angry or being combative, you know, and I think that's where it's important to understand those things. And I think part of that conversation we're talking about is helping them understand and validate, as we talked about validation just a moment ago. One of the most important things we need to validate our young men and men in general is understanding the pieces of the puzzle that we miss as it relates to manhood. There are pieces to the puzzle in the manhood process that need to be stamped. Somebody needs to be able to stamp and say, hey, you've done a great job in this area. Because again, when's the last time you heard someone say, hey, you're doing a great job at being, at taking care of your family. You're doing a great job at, what you're doing on your job. You might hear it on the job, but at home, when's the last time I said, you know what, man, I like the way you interact with your kids or your nephew or your cousins or your mom and dad. Because again, it's taken for granted that what we do is just done. But I think we also have to understand that we as men need a stamp of approval on those things that we have to process in manhood, because a lot of us have put the cart before the horse. A lot of us became fathers, then husbands, and then tried to figure out how to take care of the family. And we're wondering why there's a discourse. There's a discourse because we didn't go through the process properly. And that's not because we were all necessarily all hard-headed. It was just because the example set in front of us was what it was, and we followed the example. Now, as we grow up, and I'm going to be quiet after this and let somebody else talk, is this simply. When we have an example in front of us, we do one of two things. We follow that example, we go the direct opposite. And if it looks like that's what the norm is, guess what we do? We're going to do it. The analogy I talked about early this morning in another conversation was, we're talking about, there was a gentleman, everybody went to there was a big streaming school down in Atlanta. There was so many people that showed up and they were rushing the door. They had to shut it down. Why? Because now the young people think that their ticket out, their way to fame, their way to financial comfort is to be a streamer. Well, now it's no longer not worried about being an athlete. If I walk around that stream and I got somebody walking around with a camera, but no one really has to understand what the cost is going to be. It takes work to do what those guys do. They don't just wake up one day and think it's cute. No, that's every day, all day.
Yeah.
So I think we have to understand what we're asking ourselves. We're asking ourselves and our spouses to understand there's a lot of dynamics that go with what we're talking about, where our concerns come from and where our hurts come from.
Thank you for that. Yeah, I love this conversation and it's flowing well. I actually want to throw Sean into this a little bit before we come over to you, Tyran, because as a wife, as a mother, and you have, sons, what do you see as your biggest challenge trying to support that, safe space? You might be ahead of the game than a lot of people, but same question to the young women who have gotten married and are just getting in this game, because we all kind of do it as I say, break all the rules, but somehow find our way. But, share your perspective as a woman, how you felt like maybe you were short to the game. Like, oh, I didn't know that. Let's talk about
it. I like to give a special shout out to my father. I mean, this is really for everyone. I'm just so blessed to have had an incredible example. I'm not just going to say even my father, my grandfather, my maternal grandfather. We stayed with our my sisters and I lived with our maternal grandparents while my parents went to work. I saw my grandfather was soft-spoken, but when he spoke, you listened. I think we have to honor that there were examples. So I brought up my father, that he had two daughters. I mean, he has three daughters. Then his first grandchild was a girl. When I tell you that my oldest son, when he was born, let me tell you something, my daddy gave me a whole download. Y'all feel me? For Angelo Tyra, he gave me a whole download. Okay. Yes, I was married, but my then husband had a slightly different perspective. He wasn't as old-fashioned or as strict as my father. So I think we have to realize, don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. My father might have been considered sexist, misogynistic, and all kind of stuff. But guess what? It worked. And not only did it help us, it helped the generations of men that came from his legacy. My father was stand up when somebody leave the table, right? Open the door. All of those things, my sons treat their dates the same way, and they're considered, oh, where you get that from? I don't need all that. I think we just have to be reminded of what it is that we know, and that's what helped me, at least the way I'm able to honor my sons and my husband and the men in my life, is because I just had a great example. My daddy was a man's man, and so is my husband. And I believe so are my sons. They're going to look out for their community. They're going to look out for the people around them. They are going to, and they know how to cook, clean, but they also know how to change a tire and play golf. I'm just saying, y'all. I mean, you asked me, Lisa. I'm just saying yes. So I think that even just something as simple as how to dress, how, when to raise your voice and when not to. My father did raise his voice a lot. But like I said, when he spoke, just like my grandfather, oh, you listened. He didn't play about money. I think there are just some things that you talk about in this journey that we have to honor. And then we have to exemplify, model, and also, as everyone else has said, we have to validate, encourage. I mean, I'm trying to matchmake my sons with somebody who appreciate them because, gentlemanly is a fallen art. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, my husband looking at me. Okay, I'm out. I'm sorry. Okay.
No, okay. And before I move to Tyran, I wanted to put this out there because I'm gonna be as transparent as I can, without just dumping, exploding. But for those who don't necessarily have that example in a father, but to your point, it's still important that you have a good example of a father. And what blessed me was I although I struggled in certain areas, there was someone in my life to fill in those areas. And to this day, I thank him for always being there. Shout out to Mr. Bradford. And it starts out in school. He was my coach, my swimming coach for years. And, he's been there even today. I asked him to be here. He just had something else going on, but he shows up. And you just need that example, whoever it may be. For those who don't have the father, they have an uncle, or they have, a family friend that can stand in the gap when the father struggles and can't, or whatever the reason be. So thank you for sharing that, Sean, because I think it's important, which is why I reached out to some of you, because you all are, to me, this is just me, the example of what's needed. So I'm interested in watching the circle grow. Maybe that's a selfish reason, but I'm like, okay, this is the beginning. So how does this grow? How do you connect with other circles who are maybe doing the same thing that you don't know yet? So this is just my opportunity to kind of make that connect. Tyran, tell me a little bit, because you speak a lot in the area of resilience. And having a son and going through things, and, the things that you have gone through on your journey, what you speak about, and, as a man, how to get through that, and still feel like I'm a man in this situation, because that can be the struggle. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, when we start talking about resilience, and I go down a whole avenue with that, but I want to go to, since we're approaching Father's Day. And when it comes to being a dad and having to, and in my case, there were times where I had to try to figure out how to be mom too, which is part of it. And for those who don't know, I'll just briefly go over this. 8 years ago, my wife, Malika, and I, we were celebrating our 15th anniversary, took a trip to the Bahamas. Thought we were going to spend 5 days there. Third day, we got on a small boat to do an excursion. 5 minutes of the ride, the boat exploded. I lost my wife that day. I lost my left leg, and I had to figure out how to put the pieces of life back together. My son was 12 years old at that time. I had to tell him over the phone, your mom's never coming home again. And so to be able to have to deal with something so sudden, so unexpected, but then still having to be here and having to find a way to be strong for him, knowing that I'm in pain and he's in pain too was something I had to learn how to navigate. And so going back to what we're talking about here, as a dad, one of the things that I realized, and I think that we as men have to do, is make sure that we one, create a safe space for our boys and our girls, for them to be comfortable and talk, but also work to find those areas of relatability where we can make it easy to have the conversation. And, you know, everybody doesn't communicate the same. And sometimes, going back to that time, as my son became very reclusive, he didn't want to talk. He didn't want to share what he was feeling at that time fully. But knowing that he was going through pain, as was I, having to work to create the conversation for us to talk about the things we didn't want to talk about, it made the bond even greater and allowed us to learn to lean on each other even more so. And in doing so, it created strength, and it created a young man who was one of the most emotionally mature young men you could ever encounter, because of the love that we shared, the relatability, and then the understanding that we had to be here for each other. And even though we both experienced tremendous pain, it created a stronger sense of togetherness between the two of us.
I love that. I love that. This is what I want to do so we can keep this ball rolling, but we're going to take a break. Now, Sean, I'm going to need your help with this, and we'll periodically do this because, like I said, this is the last show, and you all are dropping some wonderful gems to me, setting the example that I wanted to set for that there are men out here doing the work. They are out here doing the work. So I don't want to keep hearing, you know, they're not out here doing whatever. Yes, they are. And you're just not looking in the right places. But if you ain't here tonight, then you're getting some examples. So if you catch it on a replay or you're live, whatever it is, you better catch it. Get your baseball glove and catch it. But I wanted to have a couple of commercials just to celebrate all that we have done on the power of Shut Up. So I wanted to give you a background. We have a video that kind of expresses when we kicked this off. And Sean is part of how this kicked off, because my brand was the Power Shut Up through my book. And she was like, okay, well, where you going with this? So she kind of pushed me into this area along with a couple of other friends, Victoria Holland. They pushed me to do this. And I'm thankful and grateful for it because it was needed and it's still needed. So I'm growing from it. But this was an example of when we first came out with the Power Shut Up and how we introduced what the Power Shut Up is all about. So check this out.
Is your family struggling to communicate? Do misunderstandings and arguments seem to be the norm? This fall, discover a new way to connect with the ones you love on the Power of Shut Up podcast. Join us as we explore the incredible power of listening and the art of effective communication. Each episode brings expert insights, real-life stories, and practical tips to help families like yours build stronger, more meaningful relationships. Learn how to truly hear each other, express yourselves with kindness, and create a harmonious home environment. It's time to transform your family's communication dynamics and find peace in the power of silence. Tune into the Power of Shut Up podcast this fall. Because sometimes the best way to speak is to simply listen. Available on all streaming platforms. Don't miss out.
So that's kind of where we started with this. Shout out to Shariva, because she's the bomb behind the scenes with the commercials and things. She put that together. But let me throw you back a little bit further on how we introduced the podcast itself. This is hilarious, but y'all check it out.
It doesn't seem to be on any of these stations.
Keep looking.
Oh, you're going too slow. Let me take the wheel.
It's too fast. How could you even tell what's on?
I can tell. Too late. I'm in the 40s. Gotta go around the horn. It's faster.
I look for the giant chicken!
Now it's...
Oh my God, Sean. I don't know if you remember.
So thank you, Dr. Lisa. I know we were leaving this till the ends. I don't think you guys realize just how creative and how open Lisa is. She tells me that it's partially my fault. I just shared with her before we came on live that it was 15 years ago that she earned, not just that I gave it to her, that she earned the title of super duper producer. Okay. And I say it exactly like I said it. Lisa always wanted to do radio, had come to me on my radio show and said, hey, I would love to know how to do this. And I was like, if you sit down, we're going to make it happen. And she has taken, it's now been 15 years from being the producer on my radio show, having only had the desire to not just producing this show, but producing many other shows and products. And so I'm going to say, although this is Father's Day, as your last episode, Lisa, I'm just so proud of you. You'll always go. You're not willing to ask. You're not too proud to ask for help. Coachable, teachable, reachable, all of the things. And I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. I appreciate you. And it's still all your fault. We're going to go back into the conversation because I'm going to switch it a little bit because it's all related and we'll have a little fun in a few minutes too. But I wanted to go to the men and ask about, okay, so we've talked about some more of the serious areas, but let's talk about even in the area of Tyran. You do a lot of speaking. You go around, globally, statewide and speak. Roderick and Angelo, you all are growing on TikTok and it's moving to other platforms where you are talking about some serious issues with the men. But behind the scenes, you need that support for whatever it is that you're trying to do. Like deciding that, hey, we're going to go live and we're going to do this. And this is what we're going to talk about. You need support in those areas too. And I'm touching base with that because I go live. I haven't gone live on TikTok yet, y'all. I'm working to it, but it's a whole nother platform over there. But I'm saying you do need somebody behind you, whether it's a spouse or friends or community, to really push you during those times when nobody else understands why you need to do this. So I wanted you all to kind of tap into, I'll start with Roderick and Angelo, because you all have some platforms out on TikTok where you all are speaking to the men. You include the women, and you do it in such a wonderful way. But what kind of support are you all needing? Because I know that there got to be days where you feel like, I don't know if I want to do this. This is a lot. Is it making a difference? I know, that you all are going through all those things, but what kind of support are you needing to keep you going? Because this is what we need. So I ain't gonna let y'all slide out and not get it done. So what you got?
I'll go ahead and start. Well, first off, the brotherhood is huge. When we talk about, we never just go live. When we do our lives, we're talking about talking points, what questions. We are talking about opening statements, closing statements, what we can do to drive a lot of interaction and conversation in those lives. We do this offline before we even start. We all have our sound cards. We're trying to look and sound as the best we can. My dear sister Sean then introduced me to my producer mode. So now almost every live that I do, I have a song that's probably going to come with the topic. But we're trying to do it the best we can because we do know that at some point in time, TikTok is just the first step to where we're headed. And so the support that we needed and I've needed right now was, Angelo, being there or some of the other brothers that have been a part of it, to just having those conversations so we know exactly where we're at and on the same page. But it also having the feedback from even you, Dr. Lisa, and especially Sean, to have the feedback from y'all to make sure that we are on the right page when it comes to what is impactful for y'all to hear. Because although we're talking about men, our lives are open to women. We want them to come listen to what our experiences are. And when we can have them do that, they can have a better understanding of exactly what we're going through. That's if they're open into listening. Whether they're open to listening or not, they still gonna get the information. So we're gonna be unapologetic in the delivery and the consistency of the delivery and the integrity and honesty of what we're saying. But it's up to the individual to be able to receive it. In terms of support, it's just good people, men and women, that can provide us feedback after the fact, that we can sit down and talk to before we even going to do it, so we're not up here looking foolish. And then just kind of ironing out the little kinks to be able to continue to work to get better at what we're doing in our craft. Because like I said, TikTok is just a stepping stone. Where I'm headed, where Unk's headed, where we all headed is somewhere much elevating at a much higher level than that. And just a sidebar, Dr. Lisa, I'm gonna have to sidebar you on a couple things, so I'm gonna put that out there right now.
I got you.
Yeah. I see you, Unk. But yeah, that's the support, man. It was really just feedback. It's really just feedback, and then having good individuals around us that we can make sure that, hey, that's my brother right there. I'm gonna make sure you show up the way you need to.
Absolutely. Angelo, you have anything to add to that? Because y'all out there doing the daggone thing.
He done took all my thunder. So no, but he's saying exactly what if I'm going to be honest with you, there at this, I guess it must be is what you're referring to as far as the support. Yes, we can always use support, ears, and more importantly, like I said, any criticisms or things you can that can help us make it even better than what we're doing. Because we honestly, I'm not remotely tired. I'm doing what God told me to do. This is not arduous. It is the work I was born to do. I've just gotten to a place where I feel very comfortable with me. So being able to believe in myself, to be able to produce something or present something that's meaningful, not only to the folks, but me too. And that's one of the things I think, that we as men have to come to grips with every day, that, we say I'm enough, but no. Do you really believe? And if you believe, then your belief becomes an action. If you just say, oh, I believe, okay, but if you ain't doing nothing, you really don't believe. So that's why I think that each and every day we have to tell ourselves and have those conversations in the mirror, real conversations, that we do believe in who we are. So for me, it's just really, I'm having a ball doing this, because again, it's not for me. Yes. The joy is out of it is like for today. It was cool to have a conversation with my wife and say, hey, guess what, babe? So yeah, remember one of the brothers who was on the live, we've been, kind of going back and forth. And the cool thing that made my day was he said, hey man, would you be willing to be my mentor? And my quick answer was absolutely. Why? Because that's what the whole purpose of what we're doing is to be able to grab a brother, strengthen him where he needs to be strengthened, so he can now do the same thing with somebody else. That's one of the things we as men that I'm concerned about with our men, is that the whole purpose of us doing this thing, and I'm sure the Tyrant can probably attest to the same thing I'm about to say. We're doing this because I honestly believe if I can help enough men get back on their square, then those men can get their families back together, and then those families can now affect their local communities, and then those local communities can affect the entire area one by one. But it doesn't happen until I get a brother back where he belongs, and believing he belongs in that space, and his partner believes in what he's doing.
Absolutely.
Doctor, let me add something real quick to that, because I gotta piggyback on Hunt. There is the attitude of, I'm gonna fake it till I make it. Right. So we will say stuff to ourselves to try to say, if we say it enough time, we're gonna start believing it. Now that doesn't always happen, because sometimes we just talking. I said this, I've used this analogy before. Sometimes we think we're talking to them into a mirror. We're actually just looking at glass. There's no reflection that we're talking to. We're just seeing, we're talking, and we think we're talking to ourselves. But the reality of it is there's a level of accountability that needs to come into play when we're talking to ourselves, so we can speak honestly to ourselves. So sometimes we are faking it till we make it, but we need to make sure that when we're doing that, we have a group of brothers or if in Unk's case, you have a wife that is there to hold you accountable for the words that you were speaking to yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Tyran?
Yeah. First off, I want to commend Roderick and Angelo. You guys are dropping gems out here. I hope everybody who's listening is really picking up on this. Angelo, you touched on a couple of things I wanted to say, so I won't go deep into it, but that belief is important. You got to believe in yourself. You got to believe in what you're doing, and you got to know it first before you get the confidence to come out there and share it with the world. And so you got to do those things. And Roderick, what you said too, I think was so important, because you've got to find the people who, well, two things I wanted to talk about. One of the things you talked about was preparation. And sometimes, you can wing it for so long, but the ones who really resonate really are intentional about making this something impactful. And that goes to actually thinking, strategizing about what message do you want to give to the people out here today. And then that gets to the next thing, is that to fight the resistance of wanting to get out there, you have to understand that there are people in this world that are assigned to you, and you are doing a disservice to them by keeping your voice silent. And as you keep telling yourself that, that's going to encourage you and push you to get out there more. There are lives that every one of us should be impacting and changing. And there are so many people sitting on the bench not doing anything. And they are limiting the growth, healing, maturation of so many others out there. So to be somebody who understands that your voice has power, that you have influence, and you are exactly what other people need, those are the things that get me to say, okay, even when I don't want to do it, I need to do it because somebody out there needs this today.
That's right. Look, let me tell you something. When I decided to do this, as far as closing things out, part of it was because I'm really anal, and it's like, okay, if you're gonna close it out, you got to have a show to close it out, Lisa. But then it's like when it kicks in, and Sean's a witness to this from being around her and working on all these different podcasts and things. When it kicked in, I just had an idea of what needed to be talked about and who needed to be here to talk about it, because this is Men's Month to me. I know women get made for Mother's Day, but I was like, this belongs to them. Who better can talk about their issues, their concerns, what they need, how to help them than the men? And the last time I did it, it worked. And I just love to see how God works when you had no idea, no plan. And then somehow it just feels like this was all, like I wrote this down. It was a blueprint. It's none of that. This is just like, we got to do this. I know who I would love to be there. Everyone who I've reached out to couldn't be here, but I know that they're here in spirit. And I'm thankful that there are examples that I can show other people. I know we can talk about them all day long, but to actually not only be in the space of them, but even when I have personal conversations, because I am very transparent. Sometimes my husband's like, okay, zip it. But because he is one of those guys, you know what I'm saying? Even though he's not a social media person and he would never go live unless he wants to just come in here and embarrass me. But to be a part of those examples is a blessing. So I just feel honored to be able to share these blessings, you all being here with other people. They may not see it today. They may not see it tomorrow, but it's out there. This was just a plug too. Y'all can go to YouTube and y'all can check it out. It don't go nowhere. It stays there. Okay. Y'all can catch this whole show, but y'all are missing out if you're not in the room, because we need to have more conversations like this, which of course, this ain't the end of this. I know Sharon popped in. I don't have the link for it because I would tell her to pop in, but she popped in because she said the last show, not the last time, but the Power Shut Up podcast is moving into something else. So it's not going away though. But I want to thank you all, but don't go nowhere yet because we still gonna have a little bit of fun. So can y'all give me a few more minutes? I appreciate y'all because I knew it was going to go a little bit longer, but I didn't want to tell y'all ahead of time. So y'all just stay here. But I still want to, and I wanted you all to be a part of. It takes a lot sometimes to put these platforms together and do things. And I've grown over the years. I had the Power Shut Up podcast for the last 3 years, but 3 years prior to that, I had the Luncheon with Lisa show. And I also had Dove Style Magazine. For those who don't know, Sean's right there. This kicked off being a publisher of a magazine called Dove Style Magazine. And that's where it all started because I wrote in high school and I had my own column in high school. So this is just my love. I love doing this. I wanted to be in journalism. But who knew that at 40 or whatever big age I was, that it would start to manifest into all of this. And I've just been blessed to meet some wonderful people. I've been able to, as Sean has corrected me many times, why am I not saying celebrity interviewer? Because I have had the opportunity to interview some amazing celebrities, even have friends who are in those spaces. It's just been a wonderful ride to have some real meaningful conversations because I was always one of those people that felt like the only difference between me and you is that you might do this on your job and I do this on my job, but we're all the same. We're just on this journey. So I was always fascinated at how people got to where they are. And I also like minds. We want to pour back into other people. And I do believe, I think Tyrone mentioned it and you all did too, is that sometimes when you get tired, but you got to remember that because it's not for you, somebody else is waiting on you to show up and do what you're supposed to do. And sometimes it's just that simple. It don't have nothing to do with you. It really don't. And when people start getting out of their own way, they'll figure it out. This don't have nothing to do with you. So why are you all wrapped up in, Sharon said, okay. Why are you all wrapped up in, I'm so tired or whatever. Now, I know things take priority. And I have beat myself up many a time where, no, you can't do this. You got to go on Thursday. You got to go on Thursday. But it's still in me. Long as it's still in you and you know you have responsibility. And I think Angelo talked about your assignment. I do feel like we got assignments to fill. We got assignments that we need to be on at all times. So this is my push to everybody to remember, if you got an assignment and you are aware, then get on it. If you don't know what that assignment is, then your job is to seek and fulfill what is that, and find out what it is so you can get to it because somebody else is waiting on you. I wanted to share this with guys because I still want to hear from you all, but I did want to share a few things. Hopefully it'll make some people smile. But first, like I said, thank you for all your support at the Power Shut Up podcast. As y'all can see, I have a little character that Shariba created for me, Dr. CC. It was the communication chick, y'all. We done been through all kind of stuff, okay? But I also wanted to remind you all, because I think Mr. Ford mentioned this over on TikTok on his live about dads don't want no socks. But let me tell you something. I met a wonderful woman who started a business that's in the United States, but she what she did directly connected to the Power Shut Up. She uses words of affirmation and she puts them on socks. And her thought process was one day she decided to do this, and it's a family business, because when you wake up in the morning and you put your legs over to the side of the bed and you look down at your feet, you see she put affirmations on the toe of the sock. So the first thing you see is, I am amazing, or I am beautiful, or I am love, or whatever it is. Or I love pickleball. She got pickleball on the socks. But I was so fascinated about her business that I actually became an affiliate. And I Am a Great Dad is one of them pairs of socks, okay? So every year, my husband is getting a pair of them socks. I have given them away on the podcast, but just to let you all know, if you want some too, you can grab your Notes to Self socks. I have my own link there. I'll also share it, but you can get your socks. Y'all gonna get these socks. They're good quality socks, but what better way to just remind yourself of who you are when you wake up in the morning? You know what I'm saying? Because we need those reminders. We do Post-it notes, we do all that, but how cool that you can walk around in that all day long. So I wanted to share that. I also wanted to see if someone, now Sean may be able to answer this, but I had a favorite word that I started off when this season started. I had a favorite word that people get frustrated when I use this word, but can y'all guess? Or Sean, do you remember what my favorite word was?
You know, I do not know. We have
So I'm gonna
so
give y'all this.
many words.
I
So many
know.
phrases. I don't know a word, but phrase.
Well,
I
we
was
did
thinking
phrases,
petty
but
files, but
well, yeah, that was one of my hashtags, but I will share that on season 2, maybe. What I did was add to vocabulary because I'm an English major by heart. Okay. So I feel like you add to your vocabulary. We came up with a word every week, and I had people guess. I scrambled the words. We did all kind of teacher-like stuff, y'all. So don't talk about me because that's the nerd in me. I don't care. But this was the word, okay? Wait a minute. That was not the word. I ain't gonna make y'all unscramble that. This is the word. Now, do y'all know what kerfuffle means? So I fell in love.
I don't. No, I don't. But it sounds like a cuss word. That's all I'm gonna say.
So I fell in love with this word. Now that makes me happy because that means that we're gonna go away from here and you're gonna know something that you didn't know when you came. But I fell in love with the word kerfuffle because actually a kerfuffle is like chaos, confusion. And instead of, and I think I was kind of motivated by this word because I was on TikTok and I was going into places and spaces and I was like, what in the world is going on here? But there was so much kerfuffle. I've heard Judge Judy use the word before, but I fell in love with the word. I'm one of them people. So y'all look up the word kerfuffle, and in a sentence, you might be out there speaking or something. Just find a way to plug that in and throw people off. It was just a fun way to say it, and people were like, what? But when you're talking about confusion and chaos, that's what a kerfuffle is. It's just a moment of chaos and confusion, which we have been living in for a long time. So you might as well just learn the word. But I just wanted to share that with you, and just remind you all to, as Sean has told me, that's part of why I wanted you here too, Sean, is that you've kept me going in times when I didn't remember all the things that I have done, and you showed me the importance of remembering. So in this moment and tonight, I'm also remembering. So I thank my team for Dove Style Magazine. They were there for me. We did a photo shoot down at the National Harbor, but these people stepped up. They wrote articles. I introduced them to celebrities that they were able to interview. I'm hoping, and I know that a lot of them are doing amazing things. They've started films, they write books. So I'm glad to be a part of that. From me being part of the magazine, I was able to be a part of even movies. So yes, y'all, I do have an IMDb page. I do. But if y'all ever think about checking out Old School Rollers, y'all know we skaters over here. But check it out. I think it's on Prime, Amazon Prime or whatever. But I have been given some amazing opportunities just from saying yes to my assignment. And that's just to motivate you all to please just say yes. Sometimes you be like, what in the world? Why am I doing this? If he gave it to you, that's because it's yours. It belongs to you. Now do something with it. And again, this is not the end for me. I wanted to make sure that you all understand that I'm moving into an area of more coaching and consulting. So coming soon, it will be introducing Dr. Lisa Dove Washington. The quote is, there's no better time than now to start, continue, or finish what you set out to do. The only thing stopping you is you. And I'm going to be launching my coaching and consult. It's called Launchpad. And I'm going to be launching this. And what I want to do is just encourage people who are interested in podcasting, publishing a magazine, publishing a book. I am a publisher. I am changing from Touch by Dove Publishing, and I have published a lot of books for others, but I am moving over to Soul and Story Publishing. So that will be the new publishing company going forward. But just to give a little background real quick, and then gentlemen, I do want a few more words from you before we close out. For those who don't remember, this was my very first book. This was my baby, my book, The Power Shut Up Podcast. But I republished it. I published it under another publishing company, and then I started my own publishing company, and I republished it. And that's why I have the second edition. And I was also honored to be able to release that on a billboard in Times Square. And when I tell you that is a feeling that I have not matched, it was an amazing feeling. And then I was able to do that for my clients. And I took them down to New York, and they released their books on a billboard. It seems like something like whatever, but it was huge. And I'm glad to be a part of it. And for those who don't know, I will be doing more publishing of my own pieces. But this is my first children's book. And there's more to come because I have been staying busy. But when I retired, I relaxed all the way. So I did nothing for a minute. But I'm coming back. So with that being said, and I will be sharing more of the things that I do, the things that I've been able to do. Sean, thank you for the push and continuing to push me. I thank you. But for the men, I said thank you for coming here, but I do want to know, what do you want to leave people with? Because this is like the, I think Mr. Ford said, this is only the beginning. And I want you all to give some nuggets to take forward in your next. Y'all are moving to bigger and better platforms, and I'm all in it. I'm for you. I'm here to support. But please help us to understand what we need to know to help you to follow your assignment. I want to be part of that in any way that I can. And I want others to know what they can do. They might not know how to ask. They might not know what questions to ask, but drop some nuggets on what you want people to know about what you're doing and how they can continue to support you. And I'll start with Roderick.
Thank you. Before we get started, when Sean went out of town, Angelo was in the kerfuffle. That's all I'm gonna say. When Sean went out of town, my boy Angelo was
disrespectful.
in a kerfuffle. I felt like
Tyran, I was gone for 2 days down the street, brother. And I'm just saying.
That was an excellent use of the word. Excellent use of the word.
Thank
you can come back to him. You can get him back. Get him.
That's what I felt.
Angelo, I feel you, man. I understand, man. Sometimes we miss that queen in our life. Things go haywire. So I feel you.
So with that said, a couple of things I'm currently working on. I'm creating a podcast right now. In the process, that's why I'm going to reach out to you. I do have a book coming out called The Forged Man. It's a leadership book, and it's not only for leading, maybe in corporate America. Anybody who's been in leadership understands that life and leadership, corporate America and life actually parallel each other, and how you want to lead the people, how you need to speak to them, how you need to show up for them. So you can tailor it in any way you want to, but this is more geared towards us as men, because I feel like we've been struggling in the leadership piece in our homes, and we need to make sure that we get ourselves into a better space. And that's why we continue to have the conversations. And in addition to that, still just working with Angelo and anybody who's willing to work to create better versions of men, a better representation of men. I created a group called the Wise Men Collective. So I didn't do a Silver Fox or a Beard Gang Matters. No, this is the Wise Men Collective. These are going to be a group of gentlemen that are going to be coming together and pouring back into not only each other, but back into the community. We want to try to reach young men as early as we possibly can. So at the end of the day, we can avoid them needing the conversations that they need to have at 50 years old when they could have had it when they were 18, and be in a much better space. So God told me what my purpose was, and this is the last one I'll leave anybody with. Know what your purpose is, and then bust your butt to get in alignment with that purpose, because as soon as you're in alignment, the abundance comes. Not only does the opportunity, but the abundance comes, because it seems effortless. Just like Angelo said earlier, it's not really doing work. We love what we do. You know what I mean? So, I mean, what kind of life can you live if you love what you're doing and you get paid to do it? That's what we need to be talking about with these young men and these young women as they come out of high school, as they coming out of college, to be able to pour into them to create, families and communities that are thriving. So that's where I'm at. I appreciate the invite. Lisa, I am going to sidebar you because I got a couple of things I wanted to speak with you on. But man, I just appreciate you. Nice to meet you, Tyron. Obviously, I know Sean, and now I can stop hugging Angelo because she's back home, so we good.
Well, and before I move to Angelo, please share any social media handles where people can connect. Thanks, Sharon, so much. Sharon is a great person to connect with as well. And I'm hoping Tyron, Roderick, and Angela, that you all connect. Tyron's out on TikTok as well, so we can continue to watch this circle grow. But how can they find you on social media?
Yeah, social media, Mr. Ford 20 on Instagram, Roderick Ford, my name here on Facebook, and Mr. Ford 023 on TikTok. There also is the Wise Men Collective on TikTok as well, and Black Men Golf on TikTok.
Oh, wait a minute, honey. Okay. Oh, yeah, he gonna want to know about that. Okay. Angelo, you on mute?
Yeah, I was being quiet because we don't have a lot of time, so I'm gonna let him have that moment he had. He just went. He did a whole sidebar, put me on the strip, got me working the corner, but it's okay. I want to say thank you again for the invite. I understand, you and my baby are besties, but that really has nothing to do with us. But I appreciate you. No, really, just because you're friends with someone's spouse doesn't mean a whole lot of nothing about the other half of the spouse. But I appreciate you thinking enough of me and what I do to bring me on this platform. I'm grateful for that. I want to say I'm nice meeting my brother Tyron. Looking forward to having some real conversation with you, bro. Because what am I doing now? Okay, well, currently as far as social media. Man, I'm not even on Instagram like that too much. I don't even know what my name is. I think it's just G-Lo, but don't make me lie to you. However, TikTok, my name is Uncle Ange, Uncle Angelo 4, the number 4. I'm in the process of putting together my podcast. It's actually called The Garden, where it all begins. Last but not least, my program. I've had that beautiful woman that name she has the same last name as me. We're not cousins. That's my wife. She helped me put together my website, angelolassure.com, which is automatically beelines you to the Clarion Coach program. And that's really all about, is really helping brothers get back on their square. And the cool thing about it is it's wherever you are. And it's all, the foundation of it is based on the cave of Adullam. Those brothers went in there feeling some kind of way, but when they came out, they're ready to get it done. Mm-hmm. And that's what it really comes about. What it's all about is letting brother assess where he is in his own space, and then help him move forward from where he is. But the most important piece is holding those brothers accountable in truth and in love on where they really are. So with that, I always want to say this. The reason why I do what I do, because I believe, and as a matter of fact, I got this from, Aldous Hodge, the actor. Mm. His wife, he kept bugging his wife about, why do you love me? Because he was going through it when he was growing up. And she said, she got tired of him asking. So she just said to him, plain and simple, God loves you through me. My way of showing you that of God's love is what I do. God shows you he loves you through me. That's it. That's all.
Love it. Love it. Sean?
I was getting ready to say before Tyron, because I know it's going to be good. I want to say for the ladies, there is hope. You can stand 10 toes down and still be silent, still be supportive, I think there's so much to be said for gracious support without it being nagging or doing the most. And I'm just so inspired. I'm so inspired by this panel about for each and every one of you, because we spend a lot of time on what we don't do. We spend a lot of time on what isn't happening. We spend a lot of time tearing each other and if this was and if this was. And now you all are showing us now what? Instead of what is not, it's like, okay, we got this. Iron truly sharpens iron. So I'm so thankful. You can find me. It is my name. I'm so boring, Lisa. I know. Facebook,
Me too.
Instagram, LinkedIn. I'm Sean Lesueur, but on TikTok I am Coach Sean on 1K, because Lisa, this is actually her fault that she always say I'm on 1,000. You know how some people on 100. Tyree, she do me. She's like, you on 1,000. I was like, okay, bet. So I'm Coach Sean on 1K on TikTok, but everywhere else you can find me on my name. I appreciate you.
And Tyree,
real quick, I meant to tell you, because you know my brother over there, he what he did was he shortchanged the whole music thing. No. The world has Timberland, right? But we got Red Oak.
I know that's right.
Yeah, Red Oak. That's Red Oak over there. Red Oak music.
I know that's
Red
right.
Oak music.
And I've been listening. It's on point. Tyree.
And first off, I got to say, look, it's been an honor and a pleasure to be able to share the stage, the panel this evening, to be able to connect with Roderick, with you, with you too. I know we're going to talk some more. And Sean, thank you so much. It's really been an honor to be able to keep it real and have valuable conversation that hopefully helps others out there. And Dr. Lisa, I appreciate you for every time being able to have a conversation that people need to hear and putting what's needed out there in the world. So thank you for that. Thank you for that so much. Things that I'm doing. Let's see. I'm a speaker. I speak all over the place. And that's what I do. I am the president of the National Speakers Association for Georgia. ATL is my home, so I'm in the dirty South, and that's who I am and what I'm gonna do. But I'm gonna keep doing it everywhere. If you want to find me, because I coach as well. My business, my platform is called Reborn Resilient. I was reborn on a day that I didn't think I'd make it through, and if it wasn't for resiliency, I wouldn't still be here. I tell people all the time, resilience is not about regaining what was lost, but reshaping what still remains. We have so much to do with what still remains in our lives. This is the oldest you'll ever be and the youngest you've ever been. And I think I said that backwards. This is the youngest you'll ever be. I got to get it right because I just messed. This is the oldest we've ever been and the youngest we'll ever be for the rest of our lives. So we have to make sure that we enjoy and that we do everything we need to for the rest of the time that we have, be it whatever happened in the past was good or bad. We still have brighter days ahead. And so I just want to continue, doing what I need to do to shed light on struggles that others are facing. Through my business, Reborn Resilient, I help those going through trauma, tragedy, or transition make a transformation to be triumphant in spite of what they've gone through. I specifically help those dealing with grief and loss through my coaching program, Happily Ever Interrupted. And so if you know of somebody who is, when we go through something that we didn't expect happening, we don't know how to bounce back. And I help people get back to life again through that. But also do coaching as well for people who know they have potential, but just don't know how to tap into it. Resilience has taught me how to overcome adversity, even when you don't want to go through what you need to in order to get to your destination. And so I truly am honored and grateful for that. And also, let me see, do I got this? Yeah. If you want to learn more about me, Choosing Resilience, this was my first book. All Things Work Together for Good. You can find that out on anywhere Amazon, but go to choosingresilience.net and you'll see more about it. As far as getting with me, I'm on all platforms. If you look on LinkedIn or Facebook, you'll find my name, Tyran Jackson. If you go to TikTok or Instagram, you'll find me as Tyran Jackson Official. And so I'd love to be able to have other conversations to, do what I'm supposed to do. God kept me here for a reason, and I'm up here to go ahead and follow my purpose and do what I need to help make this world a better place for those who I get the honor to encounter. So thank you, Dr. Lisa. Thank you, Roderick, Angelo, Sean. This has been great, and I hope this is the first of many conversations that we all have to help do our part to make the world a better place.
Thank you all so much. I might have forgot to tell y'all. Once you come on the show, Tyran, you should already know this. That's why you back here today. But y'all are stuck. Okay. Yep. So although it won't be the Power Shut Up podcast, y'all stuck. Y'all got to come back. We got to keep this going. So just be on standby. But I just wanted to say happy Juneteenth to everyone. Be safe. I also wanted to say to the men, in honor of Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, keep it going. Keep letting us know what you need from us. And we want to hear your voice. Your voice matters, especially up over here. And I also wanted to do one last tribute to my husband. So hold tight. But happy Father's Day to all of the dads, stepdads, men stepping in as dad, whatever. Thank you so much for what you do. It matters. These children need you. Your spouses need you. And congratulations, Tyran. Congratulations on your new union. I saw that. So congratulations to you. And here's a little tribute to my husband. It's actually last year's. We didn't have time because these kids are grown and they're like, we don't have time to do this. But this is just a little something for my husband to remind you all how much we love him up over here. So hold tight and we're going to play this.
Hi, Lolo. I just wanted to say Happy Father's Day. I love you. Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day. We love you. I forgot I'm bored.
Happy Father's Day, Dad. I just wanted to say thank you for always being there for me, always being supportive, always teaching us life lessons. I love you so much. I won the lottery on having a good dad. And I appreciate you so much. Love you. Peace.
And my Lolo, Lawrence, my stepfather. I wish you both the best Father's Day. And you both are amazing. And I love you so much. And Cam and I, we love you so much.
Happy Father's Day, boy. Thank you for everything that you do for me. Thank you for being such an amazing father. Thank you for being that person that I can always rely on. Thank you for everything. Thank you for raising me to the man that I am today. And you deserve this day. You deserve to be celebrated. You deserve to be appreciated. And just know your boy always love you, always appreciate you. Thank you for everything.
Happy Father's Day, Dad. I want to thank you so much for being there for me, always being supportive, always brightening the mood up, and I love you so much.
To my husband, I wanted to say Happy Father's Day, Lawrence. I love you. I support you. I appreciate you. And I thank you for all you do. Have a wonderful weekend. And let us love on you.
My guy.
That was my Happy Father's Day to my husband. We're going to have a wonderful weekend. He can do whatever he wants to do. But I did want to shout out Sean participated last year. I asked people out on social media to send me a video doing a shout out to their husbands and fathers. And I'm a blended family of 7 children. A couple of the kids we couldn't get to, but they all sent their video in. Sean sent one to Angelo. I had another a woman that's a friend of mine who sent one to her husband. So I want to do that going forward. I just didn't have time to get it all together. But you know, I want to ask real quick before we say goodbye for the guys, are those things, and this is the last thing we're going to end on, are those things that you all appreciate and look for Father's Day? I know, Mr. Ford, you got an issue with the socks, I'm just saying, but give us something that you would love to receive for Father's Day that would mean the world to you, just to give us an idea on how to move forward. Roderick?
Okay. I would. That's a great question. Listen, hold on, Lisa. I'm not opposed to the socks. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I mean, I'm not opposed to the socks, but can I get some dinner? You know, a little something to go with the socks. You know,
I got you.
Put the socks on to go somewhere with, you know, to go out to dinner. That's what all I'm saying. For me, it's just the acknowledgement to just like that video was everything. That would be everything. As a matter of fact, if I would have to say something ideal, it would be that. It would be that.
Cool. Angelo. Sean is
because I'm out here and we bald headed, I gotta start getting fitted hats because boy, this Dallas heat is not to be played with no more. I don't need my head peeling from a tan. That's not gonna happen no more. So yeah, fitted hats. I wear 7.5. That's that's when it's real cute. But if I'm gonna be New York stylish, it's 7 3/8. It's one big. You gotta have one more, but you gotta put your ears in the hat. That's
Sean got that.
I wrote it down, but Tyrell, I know you are way too serious for this chicanery. Okay.
Hey,
that's
no, I'm
word.
not, Sean. Don't get misled. So no, I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
What are your thoughts, Tyran, for Father's Day? What's something you would love to receive?
You know what? I think that the video is very special because that is, we don't always get to hear all the time our kids expressing the love. Our kids, our wives, the people closest to us. And I think that those things are things that we'll always remember. Now, don't get me wrong, Unc, I know you're going to remember that hat and everything when you rock it and all. And look, the socks are great too. But those memories, those moments, those visuals of having the kids and the family do that, I think that is so phenomenal, special. And many times they're uncomfortable having to do that, but when they do it, it really gives them opportunity to shine their light. So I love the video. I think it's a great thing. That's something I would love to have myself. So
I love it.
Great.
So plan to come back.
Realize how much the babies all look alike. You do.
Oh yeah, he's stuck like Chuck. Yeah, he's stuck. Mm-hmm. Yep. And it was hard to get everybody, including Lolo. If y'all didn't know, Lolo is the nickname for grandfather. So that is Candace, who is here right now. So that's what I'll be doing when I get off here. But I enjoyed doing it, and as a blended family, that was really important to me. So I loved it, and I'm glad to hear that mushy gushy stuff is some of the stuff y'all like. So you ladies take that into consideration. You ain't got to do all that other stuff all the time, or you can add it too, but be creative. That's usually what I say. So with that, hold tight till we end. Y'all stay on, don't click off just yet. But thank you all for tuning in for the last episode of the Power Shut Up podcast. There is more to come, so it won't be the last time you see me here or them, just letting them know. But I appreciate all of your support and love more than you know. This has been an amazing journey, and I'm going to continue it. And I've grown from what I've learned through this podcast, and I can't wait to see y'all this fall. So until then, stay blessed and follow your assignment. Case closed. Peace.